this is my third time starting over, and I'm really trying to be a little bit more entertaining than the way that I am now. But here I am in my bed. I tried to do it outside, but it just didn't really. Aaron didn't really trust me with the camera. Let's just be real.
Okay, I'm here to defend myself. You're paused. Pause. Haha, I'm editing this. It is not that I didn't trust her with the camera. It is that there's a lot to take by yourself alone in a hill. Okay, that's it. It's a lot to carry. You have anything to say? No? You feel good about yourself in your episode? You feel good about your own episode? It's your first time? Yeah? Oh, it's over. Anyway, we're going to go now. Bye.
Basically, sophomore year of high school, I went on the pill. And they give you, by default, like the highest form of estrogen, or the highest estrogen pill, which is Yaz. And I didn't really understand the difference between various birth control pills. Sometimes they would even switch them when I would get a prescription, and I was just like, oh, it's a different color this month, whatever. I went on the birth control pill. No, I think I was a junior in high school or going into senior year. I don't really remember. The reason I went on the birth control pill was because I was horny. And always wear a condom. That's what I want to tell you. Always wear a condom. And even when you think you don't want to anymore, just keep wearing a condom, because what follows is horror. Okay? You can get pregnant. You can get an STD. You can have hormonal imbalances. You can die. Okay? So all I'm saying, wear a condom. If you're not wearing a condom with like random hookups, guys, I'm sorry, you're crusty as fuck. I will say it to your face. I am talking directly to someone who may or may not be watching this podcast. Anyway, I went on the pill and I stayed on it until my, I want to say like sophomore year of college, maybe junior year of college. Okay, so wow, that was a long time. I don't want to count how many years because I don't do math. But during that time, when I first went on the pill, I had rosacea and like a little bit of acne. I've always had acne my whole life, but it was never cystic and it was never like extremely inflamed. But when I did go on the pill, my skin like very much cleared and I didn't have any acne issues for a long time. Then I decided I wanted to go on the implant. And I had a friend who went on the implant and it actually worked really lovely for her. She really enjoys it. And I was terrified of the IUD because when I was younger, I was in a gyno appointment with my mom. And I remember us going to the gynecologist because they put in her IUD wrong. And so, it was very painful for her. And she loves the IUD. She swears by it. She said that it was amazing for her and an amazing option. And actually most people I know really love the IUD, aside from, a friend that I knew who I think it like attached itself to the lining of her uterus or something. But most people I know really like the IUD. I think out of all the birth control forms that I've heard of. But I was scarred as a child from that. So I can't even, I know that this sounds ridiculous, but I can't even wear a tampon. Like, the whole thing freaks me out. Like, maybe it's like having a Latin mother and like her instilling that nothing should be up there. But, which she has an IUD. But anyway, the whole thing like really freaks me out. Anything being up there that I can't take out. Okay. So I then switched to the implant, and I had a lot of changes in my body. I lost a lot of weight, and I had already kind of lost weight before that because I had been like lost the freshman 15 because I stopped eating ice cream at the dining hall every day for dinner, and I started working out consistently. But I did lose a ton of weight when I went on the implant. And I also I don't know if it was from the weight loss or because of the hormone shift, but I went down like 2 cup sizes. Like I was a 34 double D and I went down to like a 32C. And honestly, maybe a little bit smaller than that when I was like at my smallest. So that was like a weird shift. Then I went to Colombia. I don't know why I associate it with being in Colombia. Maybe because I'm about to go to Colombia in like a week. But I don't know if it had just been like the 3-month mark of me being on the implant, but my skin fully broke out. Like my cheekbones were just covered in acne right here, right here. And my chest, my back, my forehead, like, guys, I might attach pictures to show you because this is clearly like an Alex Earl style podcast, so might as well channel her open and honesty vibe. It was terrible. I cried to myself every single day. I totally lost my confidence. I couldn't even put makeup over it. And I had never had that severe acne before in my life. So part of me thought, is it the implant or is this just how I am off of the pill? What's going on? I was really scared. My hair changed texture. It's like kind of like wavy, but it was like super curly on Yaz, and on the implant it was kind of like straighter and greasier. Totally, my whole body was greasy. And then I was getting my period for 6 months straight. Every single day I had my period. It was spotting, but I had my period. So that was just kind of a lot. So after like, honestly, I want to say like a year on the implant. Like, I don't know why I thought it would, I kept thinking it would get better and it kept getting worse. My gynecologist was retiring at the time. So they had or I couldn't get in to see her. So they had like an assistant see me or something, or a doctor in training. And she recommended, let's just put you on the pill for a little bit with the implant to just kind of like get away with your acne, and then you can decide which one you like better. So I was on both for like, I want to say like half a year, you guys. And Sophia now would be like, girl, you are crazy. Like, she would sit past Sophia down and say to her, what the fuck are you doing to your body that you are on 2 types of birth control that you don't even need to be on? But I was for a long time. And then I went to see my new gynecologist because the other one had retired. And she said, let's take you off of the implant because it's crazy that you're on 2 types of birth control for this amount of time. So I was like, yeah, girl, like, take it out. So I got rid of the implant. I went back on the pill. I did notice shifts when I started taking the pill. My skin cleared. I gained weight. Like maybe, 15 pounds, give or take, maybe 12. Which, it definitely like messes with your head. I will say I did not have really any body image issues before I started having hormonal issues and my weight started fluctuating. And obviously, like, when your weight fluctuates, there are different people who feel that they need to comment on that, and that can totally get in your head. And, with this career that I'm pursuing, it also gets in my head all the time, my image as a whole. So I think that was really hard for me. Also, the first day I went on the pill, I was like not okay emotionally. I was very anxious and honestly, like, very depressed to a point where I never felt that depressed before. I don't have depression. So I was really scared. And I did tell my gynecologist, and she basically told me that I am just naturally anxious, and without the pill helping me, that is just my natural acne. So, if I'm bloated, then that's just, what it is. And I kind of have to choose between either or, because if I went off the pill, I would just have horrendous acne. And that really freaked me out. So I thought to myself, I am going to have to stay on this pill for the rest of my life. And if I ever want to get pregnant, if I ever want to have a family, I'm going to go off of it. My skin's going to freak out. And I remember that happening with my mom. And, you know, I'm just never going to get a hold of my hormones. And it was just a really scary feeling to feel that out of control of my body, because I'm someone, like, when I am sick, you guys, like when I have a cold and my body feels off, I am emotionally a fucking mess. So that was a lot. Anyway, I decided to start seeing this doctor who does natural medicine and specializes in hormone rebalancing. And I don't know if you guys remember Blood Moon, that episode where I was in this very bed. So this is kind of a full circle moment, but when I would PMS, I would have like severe cramps where I'd be sitting on the shower floor screaming, like holding my stomach. I would get very irritable. I was like starving all the time, super bloated, my breast tenderness. I had acne, like even when I was on the pill. I just had like PMS was definitely a thing. And I had gone from like having no PMS symptoms, but like getting my period every day, to like, remembering what it's like to kind of have your period again. So anyway, I have been seeing this doctor for a long time now. Again, don't ask me to tell you a number of days, or number of months. But she has really helped me immensely. And I do feel like I have clearer skin. I feel less bloated. I feel like I can sleep better, and like I'm not getting like night sweats in the middle of the night, and like my PMS is significantly better. Also, my anxiety has dropped a lot, which I know you guys watch this podcast, so you know that I'm like fucking insane most of the time, but I'm actually like pretty even keel at this point in my life, which is insane. Not that I don't worry about, the big existential things, but like on a day-to-day, I'm not like buzzing with anxiety anymore. So she told me last time I saw her 2 things that are very important. Number 1, she told me to stop eating sweets for the week before my period and the week of. And I try to fight her, you guys. I was like, I don't know if you know this, but I actually did give up sweets for a time, and it didn't fix my skin at all, which is true. So, I think like that's not it. And she was like, well, were you on this program? Like, were you on this regimen that I'm giving you? I was like, yeah, I was seeing you at the time. And she was like, no, were you on this specific regimen? And I was like, no, you got me. She's like, see, there. And then I was like, okay. And she's like, I wouldn't just say to give up sugar to someone. Like, I'm just saying this because it like came up in your test results or something. And I was like, ugh, fuck. Like, I've already stopped eating gluten, and now I'm going to stop eating chocolate, but I'm not stopping forever, you guys. Like, I'm literally just going to stop for the 2 weeks before and during my period. I have noticed that my skin has not severely broken out, so I guess whatever, it might be helping. I don't know. But anyway, then she said another important thing, which is that I'm ready to go off of the pill. Now, I am terrified, you guys, because I have not been off of birth control since I was 17 years old. And it's just a scary thought to, now that I have switched from so many different hormones, to know that right now my hormone levels are being like controlled by the pill. But when I go off of it, they may be completely out of whack. They may not know what to do with themselves. And my skin may freak out. I am really scared for my skin to freak out, because I remember how, I don't know, just defeating it was to look in the mirror and have like streaks of acne all over my face. But I have decided that I want to figure out what my body is like without birth control. I've thought of it a lot. I think like I've talked to people as well, and they've been like, well, are you just going to use condoms? And yeah, guys, because I've decided that my day-to-day life is more important. And And also, as I said before in this video, I should take my own advice. Always wear condoms. If you are sleeping with multiple people, okay? But I'm just obviously Aaron. So yeah. Anyway. So yeah, that is my spiel on the pill and what is happening to me soon. I'm trying to think. So Aaron and I will be apart for a month and a half, which is the longest that we've gone since I think like COVID. COVID Thanksgiving to Christmas break, where we haven't seen each other. And honestly, since living together, Aaron and I were like the type of couple, which honestly, like I would not recommend this to people who are, interested in someone. But I'll give you the dirty deets. So, I was we were both sophomores in college. We had been friends for a year. I had recently, it'd been like 5 to 6 months since I'd broken up with my ex. But as you guys know, like, even though I was really young, that was like a very intense thing for me. And I was a mess. Like, I was on the floor sobbing every single night. I would drink heavily because I was like, living my freshman to sophomore party girl lifestyle in college. And I would come home, and alcohol doesn't make me feel like this anymore. I would like hysterically sob and like imagine talking to him in the shower. Like I wasn't well. There was other things that were attributing to this, but literally Aaron and I were dating at that time in the beginnings of our relationship. I don't know why he stayed with me, you guys. I honestly think that it was insane of him. But anyway, that was the emotional state that I was in when I started dating Aaron. And I had also never felt, even though I knew in my heart of hearts, like I should not get into a relationship right now. I am not emotionally stable. Aaron had just fresh out of one as well, long distance. And I was like, I think it would ruin our friendship. All of my friends were kind of like, this isn't a good idea. Again, if these signs are happening to you, probably don't get into a relationship. But also, like, I'm the kind of person that just listens to my gut. Everything that my gut tells me is right. And I stand by that today. Everything that I've done, every positive choice that I've made has been because I followed my gut. So get in touch with that, you guys. It's very important. So Aaron and I were just friends, and I had a major crush on him. Like, to the point where I was love sick. And I didn't realize that was actually a thing. I had been heartbroken sick many times in my life, even over guys that I wasn't even that into. But I had never been like love sick where I was so wanting to be with someone and like just in love with them as a person that it literally made me feel crazy, and like I couldn't think of anything else. And I was like, this is not where you should be right now, girl. Like, you just got out of a relationship. You're not over him. And now you're going to be like falling for your really close friend who's clearly also not in a state to be with you. But I did. And since the first night that Aaron and I have spent together, we have pretty much not spent any time apart. He basically lived with me and Alex, my roommate, since sophomore year to senior year. He was like our third roommate. But he cleaned and like cooked for us, so that was his payment. But yeah, we are gonna be apart for a month and a half because one, I am going to Colombia in a week, which I'm really excited about. It's my abuelito's 60th anniversary, and they are celebrating by hosting a huge party in Bucaramanga, which is where my family in Colombia is from. And basically, my abuelitos, they eloped. So my abuelita was like in boarding school, and my abuelito would come and see her. And she's like the type of girl that she wanted to get married at 16 so that her parents wouldn't have to come out with her when she went on dates and went to parties. And I do think that they loved each other very much, and they still do love each other very much. They basically grew up together. But I also think she just really wanted her freedom. And in a weird way, even though we think the opposite of this today, her getting married was a way to claim independence. So anyway, they're celebrating in Bucaramanga with the entire family. And all of my cousins, aunts, and uncles are flying to Colombia in a week. And so I will be taking over the podcast with Leela for a bit. Because also Aaron has been bogged down, you guys, with a lot of editing. He is a Renaissance man. Most people, when you go on a set, even if it's a really low budget set, there's a whole team. There's at least 3 people. That would be like extremely small crew. Aaron and I are, I don't know. I wouldn't even say micro budget is a thing. Like, we have no budget at all. So he quite literally does everything. And I am really, sometimes I guess I feel a little bit guilty about that because I'm kind of just like the motivator that pushes. But he writes. When he is on set, he plans all the shots, he films, he does all of the lighting, he does all of the sound, everything by himself. And then, I'm always there to help, like to be someone in part of production, but I don't know how to do any of that stuff. So I'm kind of just there and really excited about the projects that we're working on, and I've really like helped create them. But I don't know the technicalities that he knows. And then he'll like sit and freaking edit all day long. So Aaron has been editing this project for a while, and honestly, you guys, today I thought he was mad at me, and I don't think he was, but he just gets really like a little short when he's tired, as we all do. And you guys don't need to see him like that, so that's why it's just me here, because I'm a little bit more fresh today. And not to say that there are days when I'm not fresh, but I tend to want to like, talk and blab and like have emotional breakdowns on the pod when I'm a mess. Whereas Aaron kind of like resorts into himself. So he's out there doing work and I'm here doing this. But yeah, so we're going to be away from each other for a long time. So I'll let you guys know how that goes. And I also might be doing a little bit more one-on-one podcasts. Okay. Anyway, I'm like trying to think of what I want to say next, but I don't know if I should say this. So I'm just going to like...
All right. I've deemed that it's probably best that we don't share the story for just, logistical reasons. But this was the last thing that Sophia talked about. I'm having crazy deja vu here. My deja vu is crazy right now. Are you having deja vu?
You already recorded this.
No. Like a different time I was wearing a white shirt though. Are you having deja vu?
I'm looking real rough right now.
Okay, anyway, we can't share that story. I swear something like this happened before. Anyway, it's probably best we don't share that story, but this was the last thing that Sophia talked about on the pod, so we apologize for the abrupt ending. We'll turn it this way. But thank you guys. Sorry I couldn't make it. I wasn't a grumpy Gus like Sophia fucking said I was. The slander. But I've just been busy. I haven't seen the sun in what feels like decades. I feel like I am about to turn into a star and explode, but in the way that where it's gonna take like 1,000 years for you guys to even see the light from Earth, because I'm a star in another galaxy. It's gonna take thousands of years for the light to even travel. So you guys don't even know, but I've exploded years ago. That's how I feel right now. Okay, anyway, thanks. Bye.